their area was killed. And only yesterday, Ministry of Defense of Russia said about their brave soldiers and the fact that they are having some injured and killed. Russian people really do not know a real picture what is going on, but information, of course, is pouring in Russia. Our position was and yes, please stop the war. We are asking our foreign partner, please try to exert pressure on Putin to stop war. Today, Ukrainian delegation went to the border with Belarus to hold the first round of peace talks. But even in the time when these peace talks were expected to start, continued shelling, bombing, sporadic attempts to seize some Ukrainian position. I am working very actively with our Indian partners. Just within last 2 days, we had 2 telephone conversations between our foreign ministers. There was a call of our president on Modi ji, and yesterday I had a rather long and productive meeting with the foreign secretary. Now, the topic which you are interested most, apart from what I mentioned, Indian students on the border. I'll just give you the picture, what is going on. The amount of Ukrainian refugees has exceeded 4 lakh. It's approaching very quickly, that's 5 lakh point. If the war is not stopped, there are some pessimistic prognoses of World Refugee Organizations that the amount of refugees can reach 7 million persons if the war is not stopped. In this case, it will be humanitarian catastrophe, not only for Ukraine, for the whole Europe, and it will have global consequences. There are very long queues on the border. In these long queues, lakhs of Ukrainians, only women, children, and elderly people. In these long queues, thousands of foreigners, including from the most friendly to Ukraine countries, which rendered military and other assistance. In this long queue, there are foreign diplomats. Everyone is standing in this long queue, trying to enter the territory of Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, or Romania. The wife of my military attaché is together with 2 children, with diplomatic passport, with 2 children. The youngest daughter is just 1 year old. She still is in the queue for 3 days. He failed to solve her issue. She is still patiently waiting. I also failed. You understand, I am ambassador of Ukraine to India. Of course, my main functional duty is protection of the interests of Ukrainian citizens here. Telling the truth, I've got a lot of headaches because due to disruption of air services with Ukraine, many hundreds of Ukrainians got stuck in Sri Lanka, in Maldives, in India, and my people, my consular people, sometimes me, are working very hard on this issue. But in this case, in case with the Indian students, me and my deputy are trying to use even our personal contacts, unofficial personal contacts, to try to mitigate this problem. I congratulate Indians that the first 3 planes with the students came from Romania. Telling the truth, I was interfering on this issue. But you understand that my capacity, sitting here, the capacity of my people are rather limited. The general situation, especially on Shagini border post, dozens of thousands of people waiting patiently, trying to get into Poland. Today, several group of Indian students entered the territory who were standing in this queue, and they are taken by bus to the town of Bydgoszcz and then to the airport. Of course, your ministry, your government is trying to do everything possible. But I think each of you understand it's a war. It's a very deep crisis. It's a sometimes panic among the refugees. As I mentioned, me and my deputy, we are trying to help your people on the voluntary basis. Yesterday, I had meeting with Foreign Secretary Shringla. I deeply respect this professional, highly qualified diplomat. It was also his personal request for me to try even more actively to help. We are trying, but our resources partially limited due to the situation on the border. The situation is fluctuating every time. What is the problem in near Shagini on the Polish border?
Hello.
The biggest queue, the biggest
Hello.
crowd of people. It's the most popular route for evacuation for everyone. And this is most densely populated area. Now, our border guards issued information that comparatively much less concentration
सर मैं यूक्रेन एम्बेसी
of refugees is on the Hungarian border. At the present time, it was advised to refugees to try to enter the territory of Hungary. Of course, I cannot say that after 10 hours or 12 hours, situation will not change, and there may be over-concentration of refugees even on this direction. Me personally and my deputy, we are on regular contact with commanders and even at lower level of bodyguards in this problematic area. What I can assure you, some channels, some people looking for sensation, they are talking about some kind of discrimination. Even some people are talking about racism. Please stop using this tragedy for sensations and even for some political means. We are the victim of aggression. Hundreds of thousands of people are scared. We are with everyone. We are trying to help everyone. That's why, after my conversation with the commanders of the border guards, their only request for everyone, not only for Indians, everyone is on the equal footage. All of them are refugees. Request was very simple to everyone. Please keep the line. Please keep discipline. Please do not try to overtake the line. Really, there were some untoward incidents with citizens of many countries on the border, and with Ukrainians also, when some people tried to overtake the general queue and to enter the territory out of turn. Situation is extremely difficult, but it's still under control. Even sitting here, I am ready to continue assistance what is possible, because you understand that my resources in this case is limited. I am here in Delhi, and due to the general situation which is on the border. But we are ready. It was the personal request of Mr. Schindler. It was the personal request of many parents. We are open to any contact, and I am asking everyone, please tell your citizens, they should and they understand very well deep crisis. Please try not to create panic, not to try to end the border out of turn. Our minister is getting a lot of distress calls from many foreign ministers, and every time everyone is asking, please arrange preferential treatment for my citizens. But again, you see, in this case, violating of some rights. We were talking directly to border guards, please help, please this. And the reaction of our border guards, who are working 24 hours before all this huge multinational crowd, he said, how can I possibly do? How can I push aside the pregnant women with small children to permit, for example, some citizens of, for example, Morocco or other country to go out of town? We are with us. Our embassy is trying also to do something. But the main question, you understand, we are victim. We are victim of the aggression. And from the moral point of view, it's not fair to accuse some our people and to accuse Ukraine. In the eastern Ukrainian towns, your students are hiding in bomb shelters in Kharkov, in Sumy. Sumy is the native place of my wife, and just yesterday night, the house of her uncle and the whole residential area there was absolutely destroyed. We are distributing free humanitarian aid on absolutely equal footing. Ukraine is also interested to solve this issue with refugees. But please do not forget the root cause of the problem. It's not Ukraine. It's not Indian students. It's not other foreigners. It's not other foreign diplomats which got stuck on the border. You know the main cause of this tragedy: Russian bombings and shellings. Without Russian bombings and shellings, the problem of refugees, the problem in particular, in your case, with Indian students, will never come up. In any case, ending this story with the Indian students, I am on regular control. I am keeping regular control. We are contacting our border guards, and in these long queues, the Indian students, Indian citizens who are in the fast lanes, they are entering the neighboring territories. Moreover, Ukrainian border guards, I am coordinating, for example, this situation with colleagues from the European countries. We introduced simplified procedure. We are not demanding the set of documents and so on and so on. Complete set of documents. I am trying to be optimistic that this issue of all Indian students, this problem will mitigate.
Hello.
That the majority of them who are concentrated on the western border will leave the war-stricken country. But again, we are asking every Indian, all the people, please help us to stop the war. This is my position.
Excellency, what is the assurance you can give? Excellency, what is the assurance you can give to the Indian students who are staying in Ukraine and still are stuck there?
What can I give?
What is the assurance you can give to them?
The main assurances should be given by Putin to Indian students. But we are your foreign ministry, now your politicians, are trying to solve this issue. And Ukrainian side, both in Ukraine and we personally here, trying to help. As I said, it's a war. It's a deep crisis. I do not know what will happen on this or other border post after 3 hours. I can assure you that Ukrainian side is helpful. It's helpful to everyone who is trying to leave the territory. It's really the huge humanitarian tragedy. I know very well your history. You remember the tragic 1947-48 when lakhs of people were trying to enter India. Now we have the catastrophe, humanitarian catastrophe in Ukraine. Its dimension is approaching to this scale.
Sir, Indian students are being heckled and they are being ill-treated.
Sir, at Poland,
what is the safety that you are ensuring?
What kind of safety?
They are being
Humanitarian
heckled.
safety.
Indian students on humanitarian grounds, the Indian students over there are being heckled. We have eyewitnesses who have come out and said that how they have been ill-treated on your land. How is it that you come ahead and ensure this?
Ill-treated by whom?
by Ukraine.
By Ukrainian soldiers.
Ukrainian authorities.
Ukrainian authorities. There's also discrimination that is being reported.
Well, stop talking about discrimination and racism. I repeat it once again. Please stop spreading panic. Me and my people, out of my responsibility, we are on the regular contact with our bodyguards and their commands. As I mentioned, there are happening untold incidents with people from many countries and with Ukrainians who are trying to get out of the queue and to get the border out of town. That's why our bodyguards are asking everyone, please keep discipline, please do not create panic, please stand in the queue. Until in this panic condition, this incident happened with many people. I cannot guarantee that some other incidents with people of any nationality will not repeat if somebody will try to break the line, to do anything. Discipline, order. I mentioned you that I cannot solve the issue of my defense attaché wives who is standing in this queue for 3 days with 2 children. Please keep the calm. Please tell them. Please don't spread the panic.
There are huge reports from India, sir.
Huh?
What are your expectations from India?
What kind of?
Your meeting,
Ambassador, also if you could give us an understanding of the war as
the Prime
the...
Minister and your President spoke.
Yes.
Tell us about what happened during the discussion. Then
And also,
what
what do you expect from India?
Are you satisfied by
India has a good relationship with Russia. What do you expect?
Are you satisfied by the response that Indians, by the stand India took in UN?
As ambassador of Ukraine, and any ambassador of Ukraine in any country is working everywhere for the more favorable reaction of his host country. The same cases with me. I am on regular contact with your officials, and I am grateful to the Indian side that one of the results of my yesterday's meeting with Mr. Shringla, I applied for humanitarian aid, and the response was absolutely positive.
Excellency, how many people are from India in Ukraine? Excellency, how many people from India are stuck in Ukraine? If you can give some numbers.
Once again, I am responsible, my consular people, for the Ukrainian citizens here.
How many of them?
I don't know how many Indians are in Ukraine. Many thousands.
Can you check with your check with your foreign office?
And delegation of Russians meeting Belarus.
What are you expecting? What
Do
can
you
we
think that
expect?
the
What are your
situation can
expectations
diffuse
there?
now?
Underway.
Sir, and the Modi
The
meeting.
delegation of Ukraine and Belarus, of Russia, is holding the first round of talks. Not in Belarus. The talks are held on the Ukrainian-Belarusian border.
Mr. Ambassador, let him say, let him speak.
Okay, second
Sir,
thing,
what about the meeting, the discussion between Mr. Modi and your President? Tell us what happened during the meeting, the discussion.
Telling the truth, I was not present. I wasn't participating personally in this event, and I am having almost the same information, which is on our official side and your official side. Basic priority of the Indian side was, of course, our basic priority is to stop war and to exert pressure at Russia.